Hello, friends. I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope it's fantastic. Thank you for all the well wishes yesterday. I appreciate you muchly for that. I'm feeling okay-ish today. Better than I was yesterday. There definitely was something going on over the last 5 or 6 days that left me feeling a little bit weird. But my throat isn't hurting like it was yesterday. It's still a little bit itchy. And I feel a little bit of sinus pressure, so maybe it's allergies. I don't know why it would have triggered that, but I don't. Normally, when I have allergies, it affects my eyes a whole bunch. So I feel okay. The good news is, though, I woke up today with energy, which, and I don't necessarily mean like vim and vigor, I mean like enthusiasm, which I haven't had for a while. I think we've talked about me being in a slump over the last few months. Like, basically after Gen Con, I think I was in a bit of a manic high for a while there, working on those prototypes. And then after Gen Con, I crashed. And so I haven't really had a whole lot of enthusiasm for a while now. But I woke up today with a lot of enthusiasm, and I've got a lot of work done on my new kind of writing project, which maybe I'll tell you about it soon. I'm getting close to the point where I could share at least the opening part of it with you and maybe get some feedback from some of you. So we'll see. That's not what I want to talk about. This isn't what I want to talk about. We'll talk about this probably tomorrow or Monday or something. I don't know. I brought props with me today because I always forget by the time I walk down here, and then this conversation goes sideways. A bunch of people on the Rolling Dice Taking Names Discord had talked about picking up Root on the Switch so that we could play Root together. If you're not aware, Root is now on the Switch. Root is a board game from Letter Games. It is a dudes on a map, area control-ish type game. And it's the kind of game I'm not good at inherently. Like, it takes a lot of preparation and planning on your turns to really maximize your potential, and I'm just not great at those types of games. I'm much better at tactical games. But when friends say they want to play games, I'm always interested, so I picked it up. And I can tell you, like, I don't have a lot of games on digital format. I have Terraforming Mars on here, which I have never played with another human. I've only ever played against the computer. And I have Root and Steam on here, both of which I've never played against another human. In the past, I played a whole thousands of games, a whole lot of Star Realms, and I played a good bit of Patchwork, and I feel like maybe there was another game. But I struggle really hard with digital versions of games. Really hard. It's very, very difficult for me to track game state digitally. And I know we've talked about this, but in Root, specifically, it is a very asymmetric game. I have not played the board game, so I've only played this version. And in fact, I've only played the tutorial. I haven't actually played a game yet. I've played the four, well, there's like five tutorials, I think, because you go through each of the factions. And it's extremely asymmetric. Like, the four factions are almost playing completely different games. But the way cards work and the way the zones work is common amongst all of them. Meaning that in order for you to play a card, you have to have the suit of the card, you have to be in control of one of those territories, or you can't play the card. So that's common amongst everybody. And I'm sure that if we were playing in person, face to face, that the deck of cards is probably vitally important. It's probably something that would be good to track. And when I'm playing with people in front of me, I can keep track of that. I can keep track of how many of each card I've seen, what's in the discard pile. I can keep track of, my expected abilities for future turns based on what I may or may not draw, and I might avoid areas of the board. I cannot do that digitally. My brain does not, for some reason, I have to see these physical components changing hands or going into discard or whatever for me to track it. I can't track it digitally. And clicking through some UI to try to figure it out, I'll forget by the time, like, I could go look at a discard pile and I can be like, oh, that's there. And then by the time I close that and go back to looking at my, whatever the reason was I opened that interface, I've completely forgotten it. It's really this bizarre thing that happens in my brain for some reason playing on on the table versus on here. But I'm looking forward to it. I will probably lose way more than I win at this sort of game. But playing with friends is always fun, even when I'm, coming last. Terraforming Mars, I play it here to try to get better because most of my friends have played it significantly more than me and they crush me every game. So it's more or less to get more familiar. Even though I've played like 50 games or something, I'm still way behind. And I've thought about picking up Wingspan on one of these two devices. But that is a type of game where I don't really need to care what you've done or what I've seen from your cards because I don't really get to see anything except for what you have in play. If you did everything there is face down, like there's no information for me to gain on your turn. And so that kind of game, I think I could play really well. But I haven't picked it up yet because I don't know who I'd play it with. I don't think any of my friends are playing Wingspan digitally. I don't know if the Switch version works with the other versions. So I'm just curious to know, like, do you play any of these games? If you do you play it on PC? Do you play it on your phone? Do you play it on Switch? Whatever. What are there games that are more like, say, Wingspan, where game state is not necessarily something you have to track? It's easily, you can just, on your turn, you go, all right, I'm going to do this, and what happens, happens. Are there more things like that we could play together? Like, literally you and me talking right now? I would love to know. And if you want to play Root, or you want to play, maybe even Terraforming Mars, I would try to play it with other people. I haven't yet. Or some other game, Wingspan. If you're willing to play Wingspan with me, I'll buy it. Let me know in the comments. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends, wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know to sound smart is inscrutable. It is an adjective meaning mysterious and not easy to understand. I suppose I now have the reputation of being an inscrutable dipsomaniac. One woman here originated the rumor that I am extremely lazy and will never do or finish anything. James Joyce, Irish author and playwright. Inscrutable. INSCRUTABLE. I am not inscrutable, but I definitely have a problem with being lazy and not finishing anything. So I guess somebody could call me inscrutable.